Hey ladies, so I am trying to use somebody else's Wi-Fi. If you hop on, let me know if you can hear me, and I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit today about balance. This was just something that, I don't know, it was on my heart to share with y'all today, and so I want to welcome the new members. I want to apologize. It's been a couple days since I've been able to actually get on and like add people to the group and talk to y'all because I'm having technology issues, internet issues. The weather's crazy. It's actually storming right now. Hey, Sunny, can you hear me all right? So I wanted to apologize to y'all that I have not been able to get on here and like add everybody to the group and things like that. So, and like missing some messages and who knows what else. I don't know. It's I guess balance is actually a pretty good subject. Thanks, Sunny. Balance is a pretty good subject for me to be covering today because this is me coming to you showing that if I can do this, anybody can do this. Nobody's perfect and we can't possibly expect ourselves to be perfect, right? So, if this is your first time joining me, I'm sorry. I'm standing here. I'm like everything's kind of awkward because I'm shaky and I'm shaking my phone. And like I said, I'm not at home because my Wi-Fi there is terrible. And so I just decided to come and mooch off somebody else's Wi-Fi so that I could actually come live and actually get some work done. And I just wanted to bring y'all this message real quick while I had the ability. If this is your first time hearing from me, my name is Molly Howze. I'm the founder of HowzeYourHealth.com. I'm a health coach. I'm a grief mentor. I help women to take really good care of themselves while grieving. That was something that I needed help with and still need help with for sure, but I couldn't find that kind of support when I needed it most, and I realized that so many women actually desired a lot of the same things that I needed help with and needed to hear the message that I wanted to share. So that is why I am here, and that is hopefully, I'm assuming that's how you found your way to me. Is that something about my story resonated with you? And my message, I just want to be able to give you something as often as possible to help you heal, to help you grow, to help you shift your beliefs, to help you in any way possible to find your way, while we all are grieving, to know that we're not alone, right? To be able to find some healing, to find some comfort, and to lean on each other. That being said, so I'm going to hop in real quick to my topic for today, which is balance. When we think of balance, what is that? What does that even mean? Let me know in the comments below, when you think of the word balance, what does that even mean? Is it like a hippie, a hippy dippy kind of term where you're just you're thinking of meditation and just very zen type things? Or are you thinking, how in the world do I balance a job, a career, and being a mom? The busy things, right? There's so many different ways that we can define balance. So let me know in the comments what you think of when you think of balance. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started with the general term that comes to my mind when we think about balance is the lack of balance, meaning something in our life, you think about the main areas of your life, you are out of balance when one area of your life is consuming your attention to the neglect of another area of your life. Does that make sense? Does that sound familiar? Of course, when we think about grief, there is plenty of times, and it happens even after we think that we aren't going to have that problem anymore, where grief is the thing that consumes so much of our attention, to the neglect of how we are as a mom, how we are as a wife, keeping our house clean, managing to go to work, remembering to pay bills, all of those things. So we know that as a grieving woman, we're already struggling with balance right off the top, right? So Michelle says, juggling my time, working mom, my son's schedule, me time, family time. Exactly. And I feel like that's something that as women, we're sort of like, I just keep thinking about all the, over the years, like reading in magazines and talk shows and all these different things where it's like, how do you find balance? And it's always trying to like teach women how to do things so that we can have it all, so that we can do it all, instead of realizing we don't have to do it all. We don't have to be it all. Like this pressure that is put on us and this pressure that we put on ourselves, right? So the main thing that I want to talk about today is finding that balance that is right for you. Okay, so this is not me saying, okay, this is how to be like 1,000% at work and 1,000% at home, and like be the best friend you can be and be the best wife you can be. That's not what I'm about. Honestly, I'm about as doing as little as possible when it comes to most things in life. Not trying to beat yourself up, not trying to kill yourself, with your expectations. And it's kind of bright and a little shiny on the forehead. I could have put a little effort in. Y'all know I can't. I'm not putting on makeup and stuff like that. I just can't. I just don't have time for that. If I do that, then I don't have time to make a video because I'll use all my time and energy putting on makeup. So my balance is I give up the makeup so that I can just come live and give y'all the message, right? Because y'all don't care about this. You just care about what's coming out of my mouth. Anyway. So here's the thing. So thinking about balance. So what are your ultimate goals in life, right? Think about your ultimate goals, like even just the main categories. So like Michelle with her list of her, work, her child, her me time, her family time. So for me, I'm thinking about like my walk with Christ, my life honoring my daughter, my being a wife, being a mom, having a career, and being a good friend, and also taking care of myself, right? These are like areas that all matter. And if I'm doing well in all those areas, I should have balance, such as, the term. So balance is not about perfection. And I feel like the stress, anything that I try to do that causes me stress means I need to just back off. Because if my working so hard trying to find balance is causing me to be stressed, then I'm certainly not going to find the balance because the stress is just countering it, right? So whenever something is causing you stress, that's when you know, like, you need to stop and like evaluate. So, but to have balance, it does take intentional work. Okay, so like just off the top of my head, like making lists, that's something that I find helpful. Getting off of social media, not yet. After this video, then you get off social media. Getting out in nature, like grounding yourself, and journaling. So these are all things that that help me specifically to find balance. So if you are frustrated in a certain area of your life, so say it's your job, like you hate your job, you don't want to go to your job every day, or your relationships, whatever it is that's causing you the most friction in this moment, generally that means that specific thing needs your attention. And often the thing that needs our attention is the thing that we avoid. It could very well be grief. It could very well be a part of your grief that you're not dealing with. These feelings, I talk all the time about shifting our beliefs, and we can be stuck in these beliefs and stuck in this just pattern of not being able to deal with our emotions and our feelings. But so it can come out, it can leak out into other areas of our life, right? So we lose our temper with our husband because we're not being honest with ourselves or honest with him about what we're going through right now, or that sort of thing. So whatever it is that you might be frustrated with in this moment, especially like if you notice you get easily frustrated with, like your kids interrupting you while you're trying to do something, and you realize that you're getting short-tempered. That's an opportunity for you to go, wait a second, Why is this bugging me? Why is this making me mad? Why am I getting short-tempered? What's the deal? What's the problem? What do I need to pay attention to? And leaning into it. Often the thing that is annoying us or is causing us to be, frustrated is the thing that we actually need to stop and focus on, but do so lovingly, not like pushing, not forcing ourselves to do something that's painful, and not forcing the other person or whatever to be in this like a painful situation, but instead being open-minded and open and loving in our exploration of whatever it is that where we're feeling off balance, off kilter. Okay, hang on. I had a thought. It's gone. Maybe it'll come back to me. Let me know if y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. Am I making any sense at all to y'all today? Because I'm definitely feeling off balance with not being able to do a lot of the work that I've been wanting to do because I've been struggling with my internet and just been basically procrastinating because of that. Like just being like, forget it, then I just won't do anything, right? Which, granted, that's not entirely true. I did go ahead and get some housework done. So there's that. Okay, so maybe that thought will come back to me. We'll see. So, ways that you can find the balance that you're desiring. Figure out where you are killing time, wasting time, and, reprioritize. And we all do it, right? We are all guilty. I feel like we are all guilty of hanging out on social media, scrolling through Instagram. I find scrolling through Pinterest to be something that's very relaxing for me. I feel like Pinterest is not as dangerous of a place for me to scroll, if you will, and I think this might strike a chord with a lot of you. Instagram and Facebook are places where people either complain about things and you're like, you have no idea, like you're complaining about something, you have no earthly idea how shallow that is. Or everything is sunshine and roses and look how wonderful our family is and look how happy we all are, and then you just want to stab somebody with a pencil because you feel like they're being completely insensitive to you. Right now is back to school time. Everybody's posting all their back to school pictures, right? All their kids with their backpacks and first day of school, I'm ready to grow up. And you're thinking, I don't get to experience that. Either one of my children is not here to start whatever grade. My husband is not here to see my children start whatever grade. Whatever. There's this disconnect, and so it's just like frustrating. Not only is that just causing you more and more and more pain and keeping you more and more stuck, it's also killing time and wasting time that you could be using to balance your life. So, when we prioritize our whole self, when we prioritize our well-being, our mind, our body, our soul, then we figure out what are our non-negotiables. And then, like I said, when you figure out where you're wasting time or killing time, you know where you can plug in your non-negotiables. So yeah, I absolutely do mean taking times to go get a massage if that's something that you enjoy. I absolutely do mean doing things like that. Those are self-care things. But more often than not, I mean getting enough sleep. I mean getting up early and working out. I mean journaling. I mean meditating. I mean all of these things that may just take a few minutes of your day, but they all do add up to take time that you do have to prioritize. But recognizing the things that are non-negotiable so that you make time for them, so that you're pouring into yourself, so that you're not frustrated with, somebody who's getting on your nerves and getting, you feel like they're distracting you when you're supposed to be working, when you could have made that time to spend with them and done the work at a different time or something like that. So plugging up the leaks, plugging up the energy leaks, could even be, and I know this is not something that I consider, this is not my idea of a good time. However, it's good for you. It's good for me to do it. Cleaning our house, cleaning out our house, organizing. For me, clutter is something that's just, I can't think clearly if my house is cluttered. So very often I might spend half my day cleaning my kitchen or cleaning my house, and then I don't have the time or energy to do the other things that I was going to do, but I couldn't even focus on those other things because my house was a mess, right? Or cleaning out your closet. You can't find anything to wear, but you've got all these, this junk in your closet. You fill in the blank. You know the things that get on your nerves and the things that you're procrastinating dealing with, right? Okay. And creating a schedule, and being flexible. I have created schedules. Okay, so as a homeschooling mom, you would assume that I am like scheduling, and I see Kayla's on here. She's a homeschooling mom too. You would assume that we're scheduled and we just do everything in like these 5-minute increments, and we're just like a little schoolhouse just all day. No, I don't work well that way. I can't handle the pressure of being like, okay, from 8:30 to 8:45 we're doing this, and if at 8:46 you're not done doing this, and we have to move on and like lose our minds. Instead, I work better as here are the things we need to accomplish within a day. And so this is how much time we have to work on all of those things. Or this is our goals for the week. I know, yes, laughing your face off, right, Kayla? Like this scheduling, it went completely out the window. And even when I used to actually be pretty good at scheduling, I still burn us out. And this was like back when I only had 2 kids. I still managed to burn us out because we were coming off of the public school mentality of a schedule, and you fit everything into your blocks and you get it all done and you do it every day. Realizing that was not natural for us, and it wasn't natural for me. And so my point about making schedules to have balance is also to be flexible with the schedule. You can make a schedule, and then when you're like, oh, this isn't working for me, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to take something out. It's okay to redo it as many times as you need to. Okay? So like this is me giving you permission to do what you need to do to make it work. There's no set in stone way. There's no set in stone way to do everything. There's no set in stone way to do grief. There's no, like the ways that we get stuck in thinking, and it applies to everything in life, but then, you realize it more once you really start paying attention. People, there's an assumption that to grieve, you're supposed to move through steps 1 through 5 and come out the other side. To do school, you're supposed to do steps 1 through 10, and then you move on to the next thing. There's an expectation of what everything is supposed to look like, and we get stuck in our heads thinking because ours doesn't look like somebody else's that we're doing it wrong. Okay, not so. This is me telling you that's bogus. Okay, there's not a one size fits all for this stuff. So let's see, I'd burn out. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Like having burnout with scheduling things down to the minute, and then having a complete fit whenever things go wrong because somebody decides they have to poop when you're supposed to be doing something else. Especially as moms, like there's something that comes with that like it totally breaks your perfectionist tendencies. If it doesn't break your perfectionist tendencies, then it's going to break you, one way or the other, right? Okay, so I have some little practical tips, because y'all know I like to give you a little bit of like an action step, something to do when it comes to whatever it is that I wanted to share with you today. So hopefully these will be a few things that'll help you. I mean, the first thing obviously is, chill out. Just like whenever you're like, oh, I just don't want to find balance. Well, right there, give yourself permission to just be like, okay, well, stressing about finding balance isn't going to help you find balance. Right? I'm sweating. Okay. So practically. So the first thing is multitasking. Now, I don't mean trying to do 2 hard things that both take separate parts of your brain and then you can't possibly do them at the same time. I'm talking about doing things that are a little more, the things that you don't necessarily have to think about while you're doing them, and that your mind wanders anyway, so you can give your mind another task while you're doing the thing. Does that make sense? So this is a more of a mindful multitasking. Y'all, seriously, do your meditation in the shower. Okay? Like our mind already wanders when we're in the shower anyway. What if you did your intentional meditation in the shower? It's totally doable. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is so simple, but at the same time, almost so silly. Listen to an audiobook on your drive to work, or a podcast or whatever, something uplifting, either like a fiction, something you're interested in, or some self-help book. I have lots of books that I like to recommend that have helped me, or just something pleasant, something that feels good, right? That you can listen to on your drive to work, or that you can listen to while you take a walk, so you can exercise and also feed your mind at the same time, rather than having your mind wander while you're running or walking. And also, like, thinking about your list of gratitude things that you're grateful for while you're washing the dishes or while you're doing chores. So intentionally multitasking mindful things while you're doing some mindless tasks. So even like while you're maybe even like eating, usually, I mean, unless you're sitting by yourself while you're eating, it's a little bit harder to do something like that whenever you're eating as a family, and so you're talking with each other and you're spending that time together. But if you happen to be eating alone, using that time to go through your list of gratitude things, that sort of thing. Okay, does that make sense? So mindfully multitasking. I need to like copyright that. I feel like I just came up with something really cool, and I need to remember. Somebody remind me to write that down and write a book. I don't know. Okay. So the next thing is even just 1 minute of meditation. Like I said, meditation in the shower, but I mean, you could also use the shower time to do other things. But even just 1 minute of meditation is better than nothing. So I feel like, just like with other things, we feel like if we can't do an hour of it or a half an hour of it, or if we can't do it perfectly, we're not going to try at all. And recognizing that even just a minute of doing that, it creates a habit, and it starts to reset the pathways in your brain. So it's better than nothing. And so it's an intentional pause. Like I said, even if it's just for a minute, it's an intentional pause. And it's an opportunity to deep breathe. That's another thing that we tend to not do, especially as women, is pay attention to our breathing. Like, we breathe very shallow, and we don't notice that all day long, right? So it's an opportunity to deep breathe and to rest and reset your mind. And you could do it 100 times a day, right? But even if you just have just 1 minute to meditate, it creates that habit, and it helps to start you on that the mindfulness aspect of creating that as part of your routine, as part of your balance. Okay? All right. And then another thing you can do that's super quick is really quick workouts. I have been so guilty of this. If I don't have, an hour to work out, then I'm not going to work out at all. Or if I don't have the 30 minutes that it took me to drive to boot camp to work out for an hour, and then the 30 minutes to drive home, then I'm not going to work out at all. Or I don't feel like putting on my shoes, so I'm not going to work out at all. Or whatever. There's a million super quick workouts out there. There's apps that you can get, like a 5-minute workout or a 7-minute workout, or just like, 3 moves or whatever that you can do. We can all squeeze that in. And just like with the meditation, a few minutes every day is better than nothing, and it begins to create that pathway in your brain of a habit that you then start craving it, and maybe you actually start creating more time and more time and more time until you find a whole new routine. with that, right? Okay. Oh, and routines is my next thing. How cool is that? So the next tip for finding balance is routines. And I had written down morning routines, but in all honesty, there's routines throughout our day that we can use. But mornings is the time that sets the tone for your... Sorry, my internet cut out. How funny is that? That I leave my house for better internet, and then the internet... Please, don't... I'm kidding. I don't want the internet to actually cut out because I'm being sassy. I'm sorry. I apologize, internets, people. Don't cut me out. I'm almost done. Okay. Morning routine is the most effective for setting the tone for your day, right? So obviously having nighttime routines is great because that helps you, fall asleep, sleep through the night, be prepared for the next day. But morning routines set the tone for your day as soon as you wake up. And so having specific things, non-negotiable things that you do every morning, whether it's making sure that you don't hit the snooze button so many times, or if you need to wake up before your kids because you need some quiet time before they start demanding your attention. That could be the time that you wake up and say, okay, now this is when I'm going to, write in my gratitude journal. This is when I'm going to do yoga or meditation or exercise, or be sure that I make that time to cook a healthy breakfast, walk the dog, whatever it is that you enjoy and is the most beneficial for you. The things that are back on your priorities, your non-negotiables, that's where one of the places for you to stick that in so that you don't neglect it. And then the last thing is the gratitude. I'm all about the journaling. And so another thing is I was like, I have a gratitude journal and I have a bullet journal and I have a thankful journal and I have all these journals. And instead of writing in any of them, I wasn't doing anything. So instead it was just like, I have a journal. I don't care if it's messy. It's not meant to be pretty. It's not meant to be, I don't know. Again, perfectionism was creeping in on me. And so instead I just have one journal where I can angry write. I can write my gratitude. I can write just thoughts, right? Just anything. Oh, somebody's here. Hey! So having that one journal where I write my one gratitude thing every day, at least one thing, maybe three things every day, will help to keep you grounded, help to keep you... Hello. Hey, sorry, I'm recording. To help keep you grounded and help you to find that balance. So I'm going to hop off and see what this is, who this is right here. And you guys let me know if you have any comments or questions. And hopefully this was super helpful. And I will chat with y'all soon. Bye.